first walkthrough, which is explore default error handling. Okay. Now we will understand how this default error handling is actually working. So we will explore information about different types of errors in Mule's debugger and console, review the default error handling behavior, review and modify the error response settings for an HTTP listener. This will be our walkthrough number 1. Okay. So let's go to that project. So right now, if you see, there is no error as such in our project. Only error we are getting is when we are sending that PDX, right? So to do an error in our project, we have to do some mistakes, right? Then only you'll be able to mock that errors, like simulate that errors. Okay. So to do that, what we will do is we will go to our config file. This is our configuration file. Yeah. And what we will do is we had this WSDL, right? Delta flight where was connecting to a SOAP, correct? So what we will do is we will add something else also in this URL. Suppose an S I'm adding. So now this is a wrong URL, right? So in this way, I'm able to generate an error, and I'll be able to show you that how if we get a wrong URL, what will be the error type and how we can see that.
This will be the HTTP error, right?
This will be
Error.
not an HTTP error, it will be web service, right? This is a web service. Correct. If we go to implementation, we have Delta Airlines here, Get American Delta. So here, when we will come to transfer message, when we will send a request to that URL, then only we'll get, right, that error.
Yeah.
Here only will get true.
Okay.
So it will come under web services because this is under web services.
Okay.
Okay. So we will see that this is just a way to simulate an error. I'll save this and I'll rerun the project. So this error handling is a little tricky, so that's why I have kept all the
Plus, yeah, it needs some more time to digest.
Yeah, so I have kept all the requests, so we'll be able to cover all the situation, and I am not missing anything. So till now, you have any doubt, like or something which you want to ask?
No, I'm clear. Yeah.
Because we haven't started actual error handling, that's why I'm asking you. So,
I could understand the basics, like how
Mhm.
it works.
So this is just default error handling. We'll see. So our project is deployed, and we did a mistake in our web service consumer. So the first request which will be sending is we are sending a flights and code is equal to, let me just go and check that. This is my first request. Okay, so I am sending flights and my code is FFO, which is an invalid destination, right?
Yeah.
This does not exist. So we'll see how it is handled. We'll send the request. And if you see, it should be handled here itself, right? It should not go because we are using a validation here and we don't have an FFO here. So it should give invalid destination. So let's go. Now see, you don't have any error object, payload and all those.
Yeah.
When we cross that, we'll come here. It goes to set code, comes to validation destination. We will see an error. And it is invalid destination FFO, FOO. Now what will happen? We encountered an error, and first what we will see is that does it have any error handling? So it does not have any error handling. Does it have a global error handling? No, it does not have. So Mule default
Okay.
error handling will come into
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
And what Mule default error handling will do is, if it is having an error object, it will not allow to pass to the next processor. So it will just throw it back to the calling flow, which was our listener. So as
Okay.
soon as we click, it will go back to the listener response and we will get that error, which is invalid destination FOO. This is correct. No issues with that. User can understand this. Okay. But what about this 500 server error? Whenever we
Oh.
see a 500 error, that means our system is having some issue, whatever
Mm.
API we have built. So this is again not good, right? It should not provide 500 error
Yeah.
because we deal with APIs, and whenever we see a 500 error, we will understand that system there is something breaking in the system, but actually it is not breaking at the system, right? Our
Yeah.
system is working fine. It's just that this is not valid. So we need to change this kind of error also. This is misleading. Okay.
Okay.
So we will try to see
So
that
you
also.
will configure the HTTP listener response.
Yeah. So if I configure the HTTP listener response, then what you want me to configure here? If I configure in response section, and if I give a 200 response here or something else, so it will be by default working for all the right. And even when my system breaks, then again I will
Oh,
get
okay.
200 response. So we can't just tackle that situation here. We'll have to come up with a new kind of solution. Okay, so we will see that also. Now let's send another request. So we have the first one I showed you, that invalid
Mm.
destination. We will see this connectivity error when whatever we did changes to our web service. We'll see how this is showing up. So I'm hitting 8081 flights, airline is Delta, and code is equal to PDX. So this,
Mm.
my request is correct. The only issue is that airlines Delta, I have changed the URL, which is not a correct URL. So it will not be able to contact that web service.
It won't even validate the PDX, right?
It will validate
Uh,
the PDX.
so now we will get two errors
Mhm.
because
Why
code
we
is
will
not
get
there.
to
Oh,
PDX is there,
PDX.
right? PDX is
Oh,
there.
okay. I want
But
to try with the FO, some other give some other flight code.
if you give FOO, it will be thrown at the starting only. If you give here
Oh, the
FOO,
validation itself.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it will not go even to the that part. Let's see. Coming
okay,
here and code, and here only will get an error.
okay, okay.
Why want to go to that if the validation that part is not correct? Okay, so we'll give PDX.
Suppose
Hmm.
if you have not handled that validation,
Hmm.
right, you still pass it as a PDX.
Hmm.
Uh, will it still work? Now we have Whistle is an issue, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
We have a wrong Whistle as well as we are passing a wrong code.
Okay. Suppose this is not present. You're saying that.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
So
it
which one
again.
it will take
Mhm.
precedence?
So just think about it. You have an address and you have a parcel to deliver. Okay, and that parcel is the wrong parcel for that address. Okay,
Or you mean
so
to say before even you the address gets validated, that this, I mean, the
no, no,
parcel
no,
gets.
no, no, no. Just think about it. I have given you parcel which is a wrong parcel. Okay, but you
Mm,
don't know that it's a wrong parcel, and I have
mm,
given you an address also that is also a wrong address. So what you
mm.
will do first? There is no mechanism for you to validate that parcel, right? The delivery
Yeah,
boy will not have that mechanism. So they will go to that address first, right? And
yeah,
they will not find that address. So what error will they will get say that I'm not able to find this address,
yeah. Then
right?
only the parcel comes into picture.
Correct. So if the address is correct, then they will send the parcel, and then the customer will say, okay, this is not my parcel. So here what is
Yeah.
happening is we have removed this validation, which was
Mm,
validating our parcel.
yeah.
So if you remove this, what it will do, it will directly go to consume web service to the address of
Mm,
United, and it will see, okay, it in the correct one was WSDL, but we made it to WSDLS, a delta S. So it will not even go there. It will not able to find that address. So the destination part will not come into picture.
Okay.
Okay. So it's PDX. This is correct. Everything is we are requesting, we are passing correct. Just that it will not able to connect, and we will see what kind of error we are getting. So coming here, it is validating, it will validate it. Comes to our choice. Now, as we have provided airline as delta, so it will come to this block. So it is coming to Delta Airlines. Then it will go to the flow reference, which is this one, the Delta one, correct? And you can already see there is a error mark here because it is also reading it and it shows that it's a wrong error, a wrong path. Comes to transfer message, there is no error till now, but when here is the last part where we connect to that address. You see consume operation here is where we are connecting delta.bristol, delta.service, delta.port. I have changed this service somewhere, right? So here it is connecting and it will give us an error here. So it came here, now it will do the call. We don't have any other object till now, everything looks good. But as soon as we do a call, it gives an error and we see the error object coming here. And if you see the error type, it is WSC connectivity. It is not able to connect and it will tell you I'm not able to connect to the system. And description we will get is error trying to acquire a new connection, this error getting the resource, this and like this. Okay, so we'll not be able to understand from this what it is meaning. So whenever we see a connectivity error type, we can say that there's something wrong with the connection. Please check, something like that.
Yeah.
If you throw this error, you'll not be able to see. Now, just you have to tell me how this error will be thrown back. So first drill is to see if it has an error handling, correct? It
Yeah.
does not have. So it will be thrown back to the calling flow.
Transform message and then go back to the calling.
No. So transform message is already done. So it will not go back here. Okay. It will come out of this flow. Okay. Wherever it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
stuck, it will not come back from here. The whole path it will not iterate. It will jump from flow to flow like that. Okay. So let's
Okay,
see
but
that.
in the calling flow, it goes back by step, right?
No, it will not see. It will not come in a flow. It will not come back. Like if error gets here, it will not come back here. It will not come back here. It will jump. That's why it's called throwing the error, not backtracking or something. It is throwing. So if I got an error here, I'll throw that error to the main flow, which it called. So which called this get all delta flights. This flow is calling, correct? So I've thrown back this error to this delta flow. Now, if you see who called this flow, the choice block, so it will be thrown back to the choice block. Now, how the choice block was called? It's called in this flow, the HTTP listener flow.
Oh,
So I
goes
don't have
directly to the
anything,
listen.
so it will go to my response flow. So directly it will go to response, and I'll get a response here. So I get a description, and again I can see the 500 server error. So this is by default. Why it is happening? Why are you seeing a description here? It's because this is how it is configured. In responses, you go and you see that my body is error.description and I have status code as nothing. So it is default 500. Okay. Any doubts?
I think we saw that the control went back step by step. So
In which one you were saying?
first time when we
First
made that
time,
error, right? Uh,
this valid destination error.
yeah.
Okay, I'll show you that error also. So suppose let's see, we give it FOO. Okay, so this should give error there, right? Let me send it. It has come here. This is the first step, second step, third here. It is come to this. Here we will get an error.
Yeah.
And you are thinking that it will go back to this one,
Yeah.
correct? But this is one flow and it should be thrown back. It should not go back. It should be thrown back. So when you're throwing it, it should come in response section directly, right? We'll see that.
So the choice block and other when class, everything is within that flow, right?
Yeah, choice block is here, but error did not go here. No, then why you want to see this part?
No, I
Hmm.
understand that,
Hmm.
but the other error we produced, it went
Hmm.
to the delta and then came back to this
Choice block.
delta,
Hmm.
and then it went back to the choice block, and then
Hmm.
only it went back to the listener response.
Right, right.
So the choice block, the calling delta, American, everything is within the main flow only, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I was thinking how it was able to
Come back to this
come
delta.
back,
Yeah,
delta to charge to listener.
correct, correct. So you have to remember this word throwing. So why it is coming back to, let's see. You go back, you go come to choice. Okay.
Hmm.
Under that we have this delta. So this is sub level of delta. Choice is first level.
Oh,
Under that you have delta. So to come out of this delta, it has to throw that error to choice, right? There's no other
okay,
way.
okay, okay.
Okay, then once you go to delta, I'll just go to the reference flow. It is going here, get all delta flights, right?
Hmm.
And when we get an error here, what it will do? It will not go back. It will just try to throw out of this flow. And
Okay,
when it
okay.
throws out of this flow, where it will go? It will not come here, right? It will come to the calling flow who called it. And this flow called it, right? So the error will be thrown back here. And again, when it comes here, how it will come out of this error block? It has to go to directly to the response. That is its main aim. And it can do it only by throwing the error. Okay. So it has to throw, this is the inner level and this is the outer level. So it has to throw to the choice block. When it is in choice block, then it does not have to come back. It has just throw again to the response. So directly it's coming back to
So
response.
if you suppose if you have another choice block
Hmm.
before the existing choice block,
Here.
so for some
Hmm.
reason we have one more choice block. So
Hmm.
then the error will come to the other choice block, outer choice block.
Mm,
Then it
so see, this is one processor, complete processor, right? So
I
when delta
understand
is,
that.
I'll tell you, I am telling the answer to you that if you have another choice block, what will happen? So this is
Mhm.
first choice block you're saying. Instead of this set code, we have a choice block,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
So, and then our processor comes here. Second
Mm,
one, this also passes. Then again, we have a choice block here,
yeah.
correct? This is the scenario which we are seeing.
Mm,
But when our error is throwing back, it will come to the choice block, correct? So it
yeah,
is out here in this block.
yeah.
Now, why it will go back? What is the reason it should go back to the behind flow? Because it is in a main
No,
flow, it should throw back to the response, right?
yeah, I got that point.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, suppose if we have one more outer choice block.
If it has one more choice block in this block, then it will throw. And if you have a
Yeah,
choice
that's
block
what I
here,
meant. Yeah.
yeah, then it will throw back, obviously, because it has to come to the main flow, parent flow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this validation destination will directly come back. It will not go back to this flow because it can directly jump to the response here, the straight line.
Okay.
Once you are in the straight line, you can see if there is a line here, right? So the catch is it has to come to this response. So once you are in this line, then you'll be able to throw back the response. So invalid destination. Okay. So next is the third one. Let's see. This we saw this error, right? That we got when we are sending Delta flight, right?
Yeah.
Connectivity error.
Mm.
We will see American flight when we are sending American flight and code is PDX. Sponsors no body. Okay. Coming here now, our code is PDX, which is not there for American, I believe. Let's see. So PDX is defined here in this one, so it will pass,
Mm.
but it is not for American. Okay, we don't have any flights for American. So now we have variable is American and code is PDX. So the choice block and it will go to American Airlines, correct?
Yeah.
Going to American Airlines, we are under American Airlines. So from here it jumped down to here, American, right? Now it will jump to the American airline flow, correct? So as soon as we click next, it will jump to American airline flow. Now we have American
That's
Airlines
good.
get. Here we will get an error because we don't have PDX.
Okay.
So it says it's a bad request, American flight API bad request, error type, and this is error description. This is the same thing which you will see in our output, correct? The response. So again, it has to come back. So it will jump out. So from where it came, and again it will jump out. It will come to the choice block. Again, it will jump out
Then,
to our response. Okay. So we will see that 400, but our server error. Okay. So this is clear till here, right?
yeah.
Okay. Now what we will do, we will play with the response body. Okay. And we will use the same request which we use. So if you see FO, PDX and PDX, I will use the same again, and I'll just change the response body and show what there will be any changes or not. Okay. So what I'm changing here is I'm going to my listener in response section. I will not change any success response because we are not dealing with successful response, right? We just
Yeah.
have to deal with the error response. So in error response will come, and from here error description, we will change this to JSON and we will send error type. You saw that error type, right?
Yeah.
Here, if you see, we had two. One is error description. So this
Yeah.
we
Type.
were sending. Now we will see this as an object error type. So that is why we are changing it to JSON because it's an object. So I'll just copy it from here. So same thing, output application JSON error dot error type.
Mm.
Okay. And I will give a status code of 400. So any error which I'll get, I'll see the status code because I have overwritten the default
Default.
status code. Okay. I will save this, stop the running project, debug. Okay, we have to cover this part. Still waiting for deployment. Deployed. Now we will use the same codes which we used earlier. So we'll start with American Airline and code will be PDX. Okay.
Mm.
So if you tell me what will be the error here, so it will be good for us. So it will go to American Airline and the code is valid, so it will not give an invalid destination. And the
Yeah.
last,
But
we will see that it is not able to get the airlines because there is no destination for PDX. So we
yeah.
got this failed bad request, right? So we will send this request. So it's see the response has no body object. Why it is coming? Because when I'm copying that, it is changing. So these are small errors which we should see. Okay, now come to the airline. We'll quickly go. And I can see it is coming here. The destination is valid. It's going to American. Now when it's connecting to American, we will see that error. We saw that error, and previously we were passing this description.
Yeah.
in our response. Now we will pass this error type.
Mm.
So we will have all this inside, all this object part in that response. We'll go back. We'll see the response. We got our error type, right? Identifier,
Mm.
bad request, parent error type, any mule namespace American Flights API, and 400 bad request.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see this for another two of our calls, and let's observe what is the output here. So delta and code is PDX, so we will get a connectivity error, right? Because we'll not be able to connect to Delta
Yeah.
Airlines. Go Delta connectivity. Here you got that connectivity and error type is this. This block will be passed in our error response. We got this identifier connectivity, parent error type connectivity, parent type error, and namespace is Mule and namespace is. So this is a parent child, like the child is WSC, then it comes under Mule, then again it comes under Mule. So something like that. It's not that useful, but good to know.
Is it possible to combine both error type and the description?
Yeah, you can combine that. It's simple like transform message only, right? It's working like transform message only here. It's just a place where you can just write plus plus and
Mm.
error description.
Oh,
It
okay,
will
okay.
come. It's not something new. It's just a transformation. Whatever have you have here, similarly, you can write 10 lines of code, no issues. It should be
Oh, okay.
correct and it will pass that. Okay. Similar to whenever you see FX, you can write any line of code, any application JSON code.
Okay.
Okay, so let's give the third one and let's done with it. So here we will get an invalid destination because our FFO is not defined. So we got this and we get this invalid boolean. So we got invalid boolean validation because it got failed at validation and this was invalid boolean. Okay. So we saw how we can change our error description and we can change it the default status code. Let's change it back to what it was because we will need this for future. We do any changes. And status code to the default. Save it.